wanted to make a video just because I haven't uploaded one in a while, and I would have uploaded one last week, but I couldn't, which sucks. Um, so I'd like to start off by saying I have no idea when this thing lived. I know where I got it from. I live in Pennsylvania, found it in my backyard. And I'm not really well educated on Ordovician paleontology. Well, until I started researching for this video. So, allow me to show you. Here, in my beautiful, beautiful room, I have a beautiful, beautiful fossil here. Now this is, if you look, probably a brain coral fossil, as you can see with the spiral patterns. Well, not spirals, but it's kind of like almost like snakes crawling around. That usually means that it's brain coral. It's about maybe a foot long and about 8 inches wide and about 3 or 4 inches, more like 3 inches tall. So it's quite large for a fossil in Pennsylvania. No bird safety. Yeah, I'll keep it here. Let me move this real quick. So this here, cool little nifty thing. And actually, my birthday was 2 days ago, the 17th. And I'd like to show you something pretty neat that I got. So this, right here, this is a Lecoptera sinensis. Lecoptera sinensis. I'll never remember the name. I keep forgetting it. I don't know how. It's really not that hard. But, as you can see, it is an imprintment of a Lecoptera sinensis. And, look right here. There is what I believe to be a second one on the other layer. Now, I got this for my birthday from a family member, and it is pretty nifty. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. And I also, for my birthday, got the GoPro that I'm recording this video on. Now, this is not why I bought the GoPro. I bought this GoPro for... Actually, I'm not going to say that part. But I also bought it for marching band, like to record myself. And I'd like to also do it when I eventually join drum corps. So you might see some videos of that in the very, very far future. The earliest marching band video I would make would probably be about during the end of away band camp. But anyways, that's not why we're here. We're here for nifty, cool fossil thingy-majig. Now, if I had to take a guess, this fossil was probably a late Ordovician fossil. So back then, most coral species did not evolve the habit of culminating together to create reefs. So many of them just had small groups of the same species. While this may be true, they sort of attracted a lot of other animals to come around them, and this is because the only place that coral could live and really get a grip on the ground is on like large rocks. So other animals that required a base to grapple onto would be found with other corals. So they're actually part of a diverse ecosystem, even though they don't really interact with each other too much. So animals like this that would be around them would be brachiopods, bryozoans, cronids, and graptolites would, be found around them so that they could find proper footing. Um, now that I've talked about my beautiful guy Jerry, which, by the way, did you know these guys could live up to 900 years? Imagine just sitting around all day for not all day for 900 years, basically doing absolutely nothing. That would absolutely suck. But I'd like to talk about, the ecosystem around these guys. So first off, we've got brachiopods. So brachiopods are, well, I don't know what the fuck they are. Their classification is so high in the air, they're not even getting oxygen anymore. And honestly, someone should probably help them because these motherfuckers are not breathing. Oh, man. So I can tell you this at the very least, that they had a fan-shaped body, like, what are they called? Like cronids do today. But the difference between them and cronids is that they had a exterior shell, like how all brachiopods have. Brachiopods today do live as in like mollusks, like clams, and they are all filter feeders. They eat stuff with either tendrils, like they did back then with their flower-like shapes, or they're like clams where they just kind of filter feed phytoplankton as it comes to them. But then you have bryozoans, which are some goofy looking guys, I must tell you. They're also filter feeding invertebrates, just like the last guys. But like, dude, look at these guys. They look so weird. They actually, really interesting about them, I think that brachiopods and bryozoans do this. They make colonies of clones of themselves that they surround with, and they kind of help each other survive. It's like symbiosis with yourself, which is, that doesn't even make sense. Though these colonies did not get large, as the things themselves only grew from a half a millimeter to 20 centimeters long. Now, the two main phylums, or I don't even think it's phylums, Wikipedia sucks sometimes, but the two main orders, I guess, of bryozoans are Ectoprocta and Endoprocta, and I believe that they were both around during the Ordovician. Now, let's get to cronids, which was what I was talking about before with the brachiopods. Cronids are your flower-shaped animals that you might find on reefs today. They're real old. Many of the ones that you see today actually do resemble very much of their ancestors, so they did not change very much. They are filter feeders, just as the other two I've talked about. They use their tendrils to, to just kind of catch plankton as it moves through the current and other single-celled organisms. And interestingly, unlike the other two, cronids, they use a water vascular system for locomotion, which is a type of hydraulics, which I didn't even know that was a thing. And apparently starfish and oysters, am I thinking of the right thing? Oysters. Give me a sec. No, I'm not. Shoot, what's the spiky, guys? I'm having a brain fart. Oh, twin, that ain't good. Urchins, sea urchins. Sea urchins use this as well. They use hydraulic systems for locomotion. And the last guys here are graptolites. And unlike the three that I've mentioned, they don't really exist anymore. There's like a split off of them, but there's no real actual glaftolites around anymore. They all died out in the Devonian. And they, from what I've seen, they look like pipe worms in terms of morphology, but again, are no longer alive, so they aren't pipe worms. But what is important about them is that they are index fossils. I couldn't find of what time they index, but they are index fossils, so that's nice. But around this time, Pennsylvania was inside a large basin along with it was the Appalachian Basin along with the Illinois Basin and the Michigan Basin. These are two bodies of water that all these animals were found in. Which, interestingly enough, the Appalachian Mountains were around 450 million years ago. Like, dude, no wonder these things are all just hills. But, you can't talk about the Ordovician, or really anything Ordovician at all, without talking about trilobites. I mean, these cute, cuddly little guys, man, they're found everywhere. And they lived for like 230 million years. Like, isn't that crazy? So trilobites, they were arthropods, some of the first arthropods ever, actually, I think. That's probably not true. Fuck. I keep swearing. I don't know why. But they're famous for being common index fossils in multiple rock layers. Like, they're found all throughout. And they're just really cool and really cute. I love trilobites, and you should love trilobites too. They're not the first arthropods. Yeah, I don't know why I said that, dude. Arthropods have been around way before trilobites have been around. What am I thinking? Whatever, man. But in terms of tetrapods during this time, I wouldn't say that there's really any grounds to tell their prevalency during 450 million years ago. But a notable mention is that we do know of Hynerpetron. Hynerpedon. What an interesting name. And the reason we don't really know about too many Ordovician tetrapods is it's much more difficult to fossilize on land, as you need really specific conditions, while in the ocean, or at least on these very shallow seaways that Pennsylvania was under, fossilization was as easy as snapping your fingers. And even then, a fossil lasting 450 million years is, that's hard. It doesn't happen too much. That's why we have more fossils of earlier animals and plants and all that than we do later ones, Or, we have more of later fossils closer to our time than we do earlier fossils closer to Precambrian. Now, oh man. So, Hynerpedon, which I'm never going to be able to say without looking at the name, it was a four-legged invertebrate. It was a amphibian. It's only known from one holotype, which was the left shoulder girdle. About this bone. You've got your shoulder blade, shoulder girdles round there. It's considered one of the first invertebrates to lose their interior lungs, or gills, and they are actually closely related to amphibians like Ichthyostega. Isn't that neat? I don't really have too much else to talk about. I just had to put something out on the stage because I've been leaving y'all hanging for a while. Um, I do have something special planned for next upload, which will be a little Christmas special, which will be nice. But yeah, again, I'm not really knowledgeable on Ordovician paleontology. I'm into Mesozoic paleontology. I yap about dinosaurs all day. I don't yap about Anomalocaris, which is not Ordovician. It's Carboniferous. It's Cambrian. Holy shit, twin. But you get what I mean. I'm not knowledgeable on that more early paleontology. So please take what I say with a grain of salt. I doubt that all the animals that I talked about, well, of course the phylums, all that I said, these are all phylums I said. They're most likely all coexisted at the same time, but I didn't really give any say of specific animals or plants or whatever. So take this coral living at the same time as 450 million year old gratulites, cronids, and bryozoans and brachiopods with a grain of salt. I really have no idea when this thing existed. I found it in my backyard from a house that I used to live in. Bad paleontology. I didn't even date it. Yeah. I guess 4-year-old me just sucks at paleontology, you know? But in all seriousness, if you guys could, I don't know, maybe help me figure out when this might be from, of course, I don't know how you could. There's no way to, or at least that I know of, to date something that's already been ripped out of the ground. So, but if there is a way, I would greatly appreciate some help knowing when this thing came from. My original thought was that it was more close to being 20 to 30 million years old, as the East Coast during that time was underwater, but it did not reach to Pittsburgh, or at least where I live. So I think it's old, and I looked it up, and it seems that the dates line up with brain coral existing around the same time. Brain coral evolved about 580 or so million years ago, if I'm correct. It's not in my script, but it's please, if you could help me figure out when this thing might have existed, when it may have been living, could be great help. Hell, this thing might not even actually be a Pennsylvanian fossil. It could just be some thing a dude bought who lived at the last house and just kind of just buried it in his backyard, I guess. I don't know. People do some weird stuff. But, yeah. Thank you.